Hello and welcome back to the Vehicle Versus series. This is Game Master Karakin, and this week we are going to once again dip into the 40k universe by pitting the BaneBlade Super Heavy Tank against the Mammoth Arm Reclamation Vehicle. This is going to be a very interesting matchup, so let's go right to it. To begin with, I will go over the details of the vehicles and their ammunition to set the stage for the fight. Before I start though, let me say that I am not a tanker, so take my ratings with a grain of salt and correct me as you see fit in the comments. In Warhammer 40k's corner is the BaneBlade, one of the oldest STC construct vehicles in existence. Hailing originally from the Dark Age of technology, this incredibly powerful vehicle is built to operate well on any world using almost any kind of fuel as a powerful attacking vehicle and a formidable mobile command post. Many of the battlefield commander in the far future will ride through the midst of terrible violence in this dread vehicle, coordinating combat and wrecking everything smaller than a Titan. The standard Mars pattern BaneBlade is armed to the teeth with a mega battle cannon, the demolisher cannon, 2 las cannons, an auto cannon, and 6 heavy bolters. It is unknown what the dimension of these weapons are, as the specifications are never stated outright, as far as my research has shown me at least, so for the purposes of this video, I'm going to make some inferences based on the apparent size of the vehicle from the pictures. To begin with, the Mega Battle Cannon is a souped up version of the Lehman Russ Battle Cannon, coming in at 305mm in size. That is as big as the cannons on an Iowa-class battleship. And what's even better is that they fire rocket-propelled ammunition, adding even more velocity to the warhead. This weapon is made to demolish enemy armor and carries 22 rounds, each weighing at almost 1,000 pounds each, and carried by elevator to the cannon port. It is unknown what the fire rate of these behemoth weapons are, but if we take the example of an Iowa-class battleship into consideration, since the technology is similar, the gun is likely able to fire 2 to 3 rounds per minute. I expect this weapon to be most often used with heat ammunition, allowing for maximum damage from weight of shell and explosives. Next up is the Demolisher Cannon, which is roughly the same caliber and carries 18 rounds. It is likely able to fire at similar speeds and is fired mostly to demolish structures made from reinforced concrete and steel, like bunkers. This ammunition used in these is likely tipped with steel to penetrate with high explosives set on a timer, making this, for this matchup, HE rounds primarily. The BaneBlade is also armed with 2 las cannons, which as stated in the last matchup are roughly equivalent power to a 120mm cannon firing heat. Beyond that is the autocannon, which is based on inspection, likely around 75mm and not useful in this matchup. Next is bolters, which are fully automatic armor-piercing grenade launchers, usually at .75 caliber, but in the heavy format, making them 1 cal. Unfortunately, this makes them not useful in this fight either, because of the armor involved in both vehicles. Next is the armor on the BaneBlade, which is said to be 200mm thick plasteel. Plasteel, to be consistent with the last matchup, is double the strength of steel armor, making the effective armor 400mm. Compared to the Lehman Russ, which has 300mm armor, this means it has effectively 550mm of armor versus the standard ammo of the day, which is heat. The BaneBlade is capable of moving 9 miles per hour off-road and 12 miles per hour on prepared ground, and weighs 316 tons fully loaded. It's notably slow to begin to move. In CNC's corner is the MARV, the Mammoth Arm Reclamation Vehicle, an equally massive tank weighing in at 200 tons. It is shown to be capable of moving at similar speeds to the Predator tank, making its top speed off-road 30 miles an hour, and on ground 40. It is quick to move because of the powerful onboard power plant and electric motors driving the vehicle. MARV natively, without garrison, comes with only one weapon, a 305mm revolving tri-barrel naval cannon. This weapon is also quite unique as it uses special sonic rounds that make use of mechanical resonance to do damage beyond what its heat ammo can produce. This technology is based on the sonic cannons featured in the same game and will release waves of sound that resonate with the mechanical parts of the vehicle and violently shake them, disrupting their function and causing massive mechanical failures. What a MARV will not crush under tread, it will destroy with weight or fire. It will disable by destroying the mechanisms that the enemy runs on. The gun has shown us capable of firing 3 rounds in 4 seconds.
Commander, we are shadowing the GDI Tiberium abatement team, traveling in the same area. What the hell?
Making its rate of fire 180 rounds per minute. Garrisoned, the MARV comes with up to 4 squads of infantry of either rifle, sniper, engineer, or rocket types. For this matchup, I will have it fight with its secondaries and without, set to 1 of each type, of which only the rocket troops will be effective. The MARV is as well armored as the Mammoth tank, which is 1/3 again as well armored as the Predator, making its armor effectively 1,000 millimeters versus armor-piercing, fin-stabilized, discarding sabot, and 2,300 millimeters versus heat rounds. It is also both using ERA and ceramic skirts. The one major weakness of the vehicle, however, is that it doubles as a tiberium refinery, making it not a dedicated weapon of war. It likely only carries 40 rounds of ammunition, which you can dump very quickly and leave it vulnerable when not supported by other armor and infantry. To begin the battle, you'll have to quantify a few things. First, modern armor of the type we are using here for measurement is not made to be fighting against something capable of firing a naval cannon. It is not clear what sort of armor one would need to defeat such munitions, so for the sake of battle I will make a ruling here and say that both tanks hit 3 times as hard as the Abrams equivalent, dividing effective armor by 3 against heat rounds. This would make the BaneBlade armor 183 millimeters and the MARV armor 760. To my mind, if each shot destroys armor, and it likely will, both tanks will likely only survive 2 shots from the main cannon of these vehicles. The next obvious question is, would this simply kill the crew? And yes, most likely it would. But for this fight, let's just say it's a fight to the death with a perfect crew. Last one to be crumpled in a heap of metal wins. The next question is, what would the Demolisher Cannon do in this matchup? Well, it's mostly an HE weapon, which the armor of the MARV does well against. But it's still a 1,000-pound bomb, so it would probably do quite a bit of damage still. Question 4 is, what does the resonance ammo do to the BaneBlade? Resonance tech disables vehicles, it does not outright destroy. So the question is, does the round resonate with plasteel? If yes, the first shot will most likely knock it out. If no, then the round is only a standard naval cannon round with the specs as before. In ideal conditions at good range, I believe that in the situation that the resonance does affect the BaneBlade, the first shot knocks it out and the second destroys it seconds later. In the situation where it doesn't, the second round likely kills it. The MARV has AI guiding its rounds, making them very accurate. The BaneBlade is less accurate with its Demolisher cannon, but not terribly so. If it lands both hits, the BaneBlade likely knocks the MARV out, but that is not a given as the MARV is 3 to 4 times faster than the BaneBlade, making it a harder shot to make. I will say that in this fight, realistically, starting in ideal conditions and at a dead stop, most versions of this fight would end up with both of the vehicles ending up dead. They are fairly well matched, with the slight edge going to MARV in each category except for variety of weapons. In the case for the infantry squads in the MARV, I say it wins 60% of the time, and without, that is reduced to 55% of the time. Slightest edge to the MARV. This is Game Master Karakin, signing off. I hope you all had a good time listening to the video. Goodbye.